All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Run! Go! This is the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get to the Podcast. Let's get to the podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
And we are watching some films.
Yeah, so how about we tell people what we've been watching recently? Because we have nothing else to fucking talk about. We could come up with a better idea. Just kidding. No, we want to. We've wanted to do episodes like this every now and then. Is go, okay, what have we been watching recently? And we want to kind of let you know what we think of them and whether or not, maybe we can give you some ideas of things you can watch.
I just remembered something I watched.
Say it. Go ahead. Say it.
The Meg.
The Meg. You saw that?
It was great.
Was it? It's totally your kind of film.
I wish I'd seen it in theaters. Why are you?
I saw it.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
That's
I
one of
thought
his
it
kind
was.
of films.
So Jason Statham is in it. Is that it? Jason Statham? Did I
can't
pronounce
believe
that
you
correctly?
just. Yeah, I can't believe you said that movie was like awesome.
I really enjoy. I like blockbuster movies, and I feel like we have a lot of these blockbuster movies that are like. I don't know. They're just not. They're not like Infinity War or something, or a lot of these Marvel films. Like maybe like the last Thor film was fun.
Okay.
It's just a fun movie, but like they're just getting to like people are getting dead. Like they're just bringing all this soap opera and drama into the mix, and it doesn't make it as fun for me.
Okay.
I like to be able to go and I like that Transformers, like going into Transformers 1.
Yeah.
Like it's just straight popcorn, man. You're just sitting there having a blast. You're on a roller coaster. Like it's not super heavy, and like shit happens, and that's how the Meg is. The Meg never gets heavy.
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry. The Meg gets very heavy, especially when you go from one huge ass motherfucking shark to
another
a
huge.
bigger ass motherfucking shark.
But it's fun. It's a fun movie. Like there's like humor in it. There's like it feels like you get that sense of like that thriller aspect where it's
what's
like
the one with Samuel L. Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
It's like Deep Blue Sea doing cocaine.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is.
But it's like Deep Blue Sea instead of having like with a bigger CG budget, basically. Like it's crazy. Like because it's funny when you watch the movie. There's like maybe 8 people. Like the total cast is like a total of 8 people. And there's a lot of money spent on these like huge, elaborate underwater like CG, facilities and all this stuff. And it's cool. It's a fun movie. I liked it a lot. I dug it. And it's directed by, that's what I was going to say. It's directed by the same guy who did National Treasure 1 and 2.
Oh, really? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what his name is. He has like a funny name, like Stephanopoulos or something.
Okay.
Yes.
He's like a special effects guy, like
Okay.
turned director.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he did like the special effects for like tons and tons of like classic,
Yeah.
action movies.
I know a movie I wanted to see recently, and I was like, "Hey, Neil, come see this with me. Let's go." Oh, I was like, "Hey, you want to go to the movies tomorrow morning?" He's like, "Yeah, totally." I'm like, "Cool, let's go see this movie." And you're like, "Nah."
Did you see it?
No, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I knew that was my only opportunity to see it before I went to Singapore because I'm going to Singapore.
I'm sure they're
for 2
playing
weeks.
it in Singapore.
I'm not gonna go.
They'll have subtitled in English.
I hate you.
Or you could put
and
on
everything that you represent.
A lot of movie theaters will
Listen.
give you the headphones and you can hear the track, hear the
All
audio.
because you wouldn't just fucking come see the movie and put away your fucking prejudices.
I'm not prejudiced.
no,
I'm not
this
giving
guy-
Marvel any more money.
Let me say something real quick. If this guy said to me, "Hey, you want to go see Spider-Man
Dude, you
Into the Spider-Verse
dragged
or
me
something
to
like
go
that the next
see
morning?"
Infinity War, and I watched it.
Thank you. But if you
And it
said,
was
"Hey,
okay.
can we go see this movie?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure," because I go for the social experience of it too, and just wanting to watch it. And
But
this
we
guy
saw
is,
Glass. That's what I
We
wanted
did.
to see.
I know, we saw it.
It was either Glass or that, and I was like, no.
But
I
you
choose
weren't even
Glass.
thinking of going to the movies that morning until I brought it up. My whole point was like,
I thought about it.
I had been planning on going to see that movie by myself, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll ask Neil if he wants to go." And he was like, "Nah, I don't want to go see that." I'm like, "Great." So my whole fucking
But
plan
then
is
I
shot,
said, "I'll see
and he
Glass."
just hijacked my fucking morning.
Yeah, I was like, oh, let's go see
So,
Glass.
so
I wanted
anyways,
to see
we
that.
went and saw Glass, which was really good.
Really good. I
Yeah.
liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I read some negative stuff online, and I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah, there's
but,
definitely negative stuff online because I don't think it's got the
There's
highest
always-
Rotten
It's a
Tomatoes.
solid. It's like, I will say, if you watch Unbreakable and you like the pace and the realism from Unbreakable, like you're gonna love.
Yeah, I feel like it was
Glass.
almost more like Unbreakable than Split in a way.
It definitely was. And it, like, in a weird way, I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking, like, man, M. Night Shyamalan has come a long way. Like, this movie shouldn't work on paper, and it works. And he makes it work, and he gets the right performances, and everything is, like edited in a way, and the way things, like, play out in a way, like, that it feels like it works. And you're like, man, like, this should not work. And it's working. And I feel like M. Night Shyamalan's, like, come a long way as a director.
Right.
And maybe that's what he just should have been doing the whole time. Like,
he probably should. That's his wheelhouse.
Yeah. We had a whole conversation about this, that the last 3 films that he released, Split, Glass, and
The one with the grandparents.
the one with the grandparents. Yeah. I forget what it was called. The lost footage film with the kids, and they go to stay with the grandparents, and it's the whole twist. I don't want to spoil it, but
Okay.
Anyway, all 3 of those he produced himself. He put the money up himself. Yeah, financed himself so he could have like 100% creative control over the film, which I think is really interesting because the film he did before the grandparents one was Avatar: The Last Airbender.
After Earth he would have done.
After Earth, you're right.
He had a couple. All he had in The Happening was in between that. Like, he did a few films, and it was just like a series of generally not well received flops. Whereas he was like the golden boy, and then all of a sudden he was doing these things that people.
It could be that he wanted to go in a certain direction with them, and the studio was like, "No, it should be this way." And then
I think he's very complex.
I don't think his wheelhouse is
and I think
yeah.
what happened is that when the studios got involved in it, it takes like a lot of crafting to create what he does. Yeah. Like, especially with Unbreakable, like that. You're right. Like, his stories, it's like, yeah, this doesn't sound great.
But I think
when the studios got involved, I think probably they fucked it up.
I think he has a wheelhouse, and he should play to his strengths. I don't think he's like one of these guys that's like a variety director who can direct all different types of things. I think he
knows his stuff well.
I wish he would. I'd like stick to this.
It works.
Not necessarily this budget, but this style where it's like the thing that blew me away about Unbreakable is that it's a superhero film that like never once has moments that are like, where you would expect like, somebody being thrown through a
CG.
brick wall or somebody flying through the sky. Like, it doesn't have any of that, but it's still a superhero movie. And even like Samuel Jackson's character, it's like, he's great. He's like so good. Like the way, like the purple coat and like the way he dressed in the wheelchair, it's like, and the hair, it's like everything is like so, and it's like, you could totally run into somebody like that, in Philly.
Yeah. Philly.
But I mean, it's like he creates a world that's like so believable in the real world. Yeah. Whereas like you watch like a DC film or a Marvel film or a fantastical film, and it feels like it's out of our. It doesn't feel like it. Well, it doesn't feel like this is something that could happen in our reality. But like Unbreakable does.
Which that series feels like, oh, somebody just created a fucking virus that turns people into superheroes.
Well, yeah, that I could see that.
So if you like Unbreakable and you like Split, you'll like Glass. Like, I really can't see you not like if you go, no, I didn't like this, I like this other one. I'm like, I don't know what you're liking then. Like, you're fickle because it feels like Split and Unbreakable and like an amalgam of those two.
Music is great.
Yeah, the music's
Glass,
really good.
Like,
I like the
I don't know
opening
if they
scene.
had the same composer come back.
I don't
James
know.
Horner.
I did have after we watched it. I had
James Newton Howard passed away.
Right.
Was
James Horner. James Horner passed away.
Wait, no, James Newton Howard. He's the one that does the music for M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay, right.
That's right.
James Horner passed away.
So it must be James. I'm gonna see now.
Okay.
If he did the music, I thought the music was great.
Yeah, it was. It was. I actually
I
noticed it. I was like, oh, this is a really good score. So after we finished watching it, I brought up a couple issues with the third act. And you were not having it. Like, you were in.
Yeah, don't bring it up.
Insane.
I haven't seen
I was like,
not at all.
I know, but you're saying triggered stuff
I know.
that's gonna set him off, and he's gonna slip and say something.
All it is,
I don't slip.
People slip. And I'm not saying you're gonna slip on purpose, but people sometimes slip. Sometimes those trigger words make you say, "Nah, we're doing this now."
So my point being, when bringing that up, was not to necessarily talk about it, but to say they were minor points and they were really more technical points. Yeah. And Neil wasn't having any of that. I was not trying to say that I didn't like the movie. I loved the movie all the way up until those points. I still loved it, and even after those, I was still like, "This is a great movie." But there were a couple things that took me out of it for like a second. But they're minor to the overall.
All right,
experience.
let's not repeat it then.
Don't repeat what?
I
You
don't
said they're
know.
minor things like 3 times. It's kind of like, can we move to the next film because I feel there's gonna be a slip up happening.
Oh, you're afraid that I'm gonna spoil it for you because you haven't seen it.
No, I'm afraid somebody's gonna.
You've seen
by
that.
mistake.
No,
You've
no,
seen
no,
Split.
We're not going
yeah.
to. He doesn't
You've
even remember
seen
what
Split,
it is.
right?
I've seen Split. Yes.
I remember. I'm let's bring up the fact that like James McAvoy has not gotten any acknowledgement or recognition for his incredible performance in Split, and then also incredible performance in Glass. And I'm like, this is so weird to me, right?
This is
Like,
and I
weird
said that in
awards
Split. He was
recognition.
a
Like awards
like
recognition.
awards recognition.
Yeah.
Like
It
at
is
least
weird, right?
you know. Because it's
very
crazy.
weird.
I'm trying to think of like other comparable movies where like, you know, other than Robin Williams or something, like jumping between multiple characters like Mrs.
If it was a
Doubtfire,
different type of
Aladdin.
movie, because it doesn't feel like if that performance was done in a different type of movie or a different quality movie or whatever, I feel like it would get recognition. There's something about this that doesn't feel like it lends itself to a movie that's going to get nominated for acting awards and stuff like that, even though James McAvoy is incredible in them. I feel like if he did that in a movie, like an Awakenings kind of movie, and it has nothing to do with Split
You know what we should
personalities,
do?
It would maybe
No.
happen for him.
We should do the real Oscars after the Oscars.
Oh yeah, here's what really should have been nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, actually.
would be
like, you
interesting.
know, our nominations
Yeah,
for Best
Because
Picture.
Yeah.
we're the credit.
I know you guys are
credited
gonna
source.
like you're gonna whitewash the Oscars. I know you guys.
Oh, yeah.
A couple
No.
racists over here.
Yeah, we love
I'm not gonna
we
whitewash
love
it.
white
You're gonna
people.
whitewash. Yeah, you love white people and you hate your.
What was that movie with
What?
Tom Cruise where he's like, I love white people?
Yeah, that's Jerry
what-
Maguire.
Isn't that what
Jerry
it is?
Maguire.
All right, what's another? Let's hey, Diego, name one. Name a movie.
Name a
That's
movie
not
I
what he
just-
says. He says, I love black people.
That's right.
Oh,
that was
I
Jerry
remember now, I
Maguire.
remember
That was
now.
Jerry Maguire.
I didn't like that
Yeah.
movie. I'm just kidding.
Propaganda.
I recently
That's a great
watched
movie.
the movie that's hugely talked about right now, which is Roma.
Roma,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's nominated for Best Picture.
That's
Oscar.
nominated.
So
for
what is
Best
this movie
Picture.
about? Because I see all these every year, like the Oscars get announced, and like most of the movies, I'm like, I've never even heard
Alfonso
of that
Cuarón
movie.
directed this. First off,
Alfonso Cuarón.
Cuarón.
Is it Cuarón or Cuarón?
Cuarón. Is it Cuarón?
Diego.
Cuarón.
Diego, help us out.
Guerrón.
Yeah,
Roll the R.
Can't.
that's like a mix between the
I
two.
can't what white man. I can't what white
This guy
man.
speaks
He directed-
No.
I can't what
He
white
directed,
man. White man tell
he
me what
directed-
I can't what.
Okay.
White man tell the Latin person what I cannot.
Okay. We're gonna play it like that then? Fine. Listen, you Portuguese,
All
okay?
right.
Don't pretend like this is Spanish, this is native. Like, fuck you. It's Portuguese.
It's Latin.
Fuck off.
He directed Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, and he
Which
did
I
Gravity.
love.
Gravity.
And he did Gravity, which is fantastic. Yeah.
So
So
go ahead.
Roma. So the summary of the story is basically you're just going through a day in the life of this live-in housekeeper. This is nanny, and it's very interesting because that's the plot. You're just following her and seeing what she experiences.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, is that so this movie's literally Latin, and I watched it, and it's a really good film. But I don't think if you don't understand the culture, you don't really understand how much of a story you're getting.
Yeah, like
out
the
of
context
this.
and or
The
significance
context.
to
Why
the-
are
yeah.
these things happening? Why are things happening? And my wife is from Bolivia, and talking to her after we watched the film, she explained to me why these things in the film were important culturally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I did not know this. And it just took the film to a whole different level. This is not a film that you're going to watch and you're going to see sparks and just these incredible, like, dynamic
Intimate
scenes.
character piece, really.
And it's literally,
reminds me of,
a character piece.
What's his name's last movie? I mean, these movies are nothing alike, but in like that sense that it's like a very the one where they got the dressmaker movie with
Paul Thomas Anderson.
yeah
Phantom Thread.
The Phantom Thread. Did you see it?
I didn't.
Did you
I
see
want
it?
to see it.
I don't remember
I
it.
want to see
No.
it.
It was on I want to say it was on Amazon Prime or something like that. I watched it and it was very much like that. Like not a whole lot happens in this movie, and it kind of like I feel like there's like I missed something because there's all these like nuanced things, and
Yeah.
it's almost like you're expected to just come up with your own explanation of what's going on or what this significant thing means or what that thing means, and it's an odd movie. But I also thought it was a really well-made movie, and it was. But it sounds like this, like what you're talking about. Like it's kind of like you're not going to be blown away, but there's like clearly layers of shit that are hidden.
Well, this is what happened to me when I watched it. I didn't understand why this film was being nominated.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't understand why. But then I just, like I said, I talked to my wife and I understand the cultural importance of things that happen within the film, and then going back and rewatching the scenes and seeing certain things in the film. And I'm like, this film took scenes that you really never seen on television or in movies that you think that would be too much. And they
like
made
what
it.
Scenes?
They made it. Do you want to hear? Or are you gonna watch?
No, I'll watch it.
We'll watch the.
Oh, all right. So
What is it like? You're like, is it rape? Is it murder? Is it?
No. Like I said, there's nothing crazy. It's just there's. I don't want to tell you the
like
film.
mundane things or something.
It's up to you guys. Like I would tell.
I'm
I explain the
just gonna watch
scene. I'll explain the scene.
I'll watch it.
No, we'll watch it.
All right. Say.
You know what's interesting about this? So this is about a maid, right?
This is about a maid. Yeah.
For
I don't know.
reason,
It's just like a live-in nanny. Maid. Yeah. I don't know what they're called. Specific terminology for that.
I randomly read. I came across this article about this that this woman wrote about growing up with this nanny she had, and it turned out it's this insane. And then I got like engrossed in this article, and it's similar to what you're describing. I mean, I don't know if this is how the movie plays out or not, but basically this woman who's now a writer wrote this entire story about this. When she was born, there was this nanny that lived with them, and it turned out that the nanny was she was essentially like a daughter, like, so she was like a local town. They all lived in this small town in like the Philippines or something, and the parents of this girl sold the girl to her parents, as like a slave,
right?
And so then they ended up moving, and ultimately they ended up in the United States, and this woman, who was an undocumented citizen because she was a slave to the family, basically was like their nanny. And so the girl, her entire life, knew she was a nanny, but their parents treated her like shit, and they like beat her, and they like, it was this horrible thing. But like when the little girl's like recalling all this growing up, like the husband ended up passing away, and he was like the worst offender or something, and then the mother basically lived with this person her entire life or whatever, is like had this helper,
right?
But they like never paid her. She like basically lived in like, a linen closet or something. It was like she was like Harry Potter or whatever.
Cinderella.
See, this is
and
not
then
even
like
that.
she wanted to go home, but like when she finally did get a chance to go home or something like that, like her parents had long since died. Like she never saw her parents again from like the age of 11.
Wow.
And they were just dead. Like she had like a sister. She finally went home towards the end of her life and then met like her sister who was like 90 and she was like 90. And I'm like, it's just this crazy article I read. And then she ended up finally passing away. But I was like, this is like horrific. But when you're describing this, I'm like, I'm wondering if it's something similar to this article I read.
It's literally a day in the life. There's one scene that's probably like, oh, this is kind of crazy. Yeah, and that's about it. But the film, it's so slow paced. It's the camera movement. It's the shots. If you really think. If you really watch it a second time, turn off your audio and really watch the cinematography. You'll see such a scope of cinematography.
Right.
It's really incredible.
Yeah.
They literally made this film like a class. Sorry, so Neil keeps gurgling at the mic.
He keeps clearing his throat in the mic.
In
He
the
does
mic.
it all the
Let
time.
me clear my throat, man.
Let me clear my throat.
The editing, the cinematography, how they made this movie really not black and white, but like a golden age really style. The coloring, it's actually very like I don't know, it's very silver type of deal.
I get it.
I
It's
forgot
classic.
It's very
look,
classical. Yeah,
It's black and white, right?
It's black and white, but it has a silver tone to it.
Chrome,
which is really
kind of like a.
It's really interesting.
It takes place in the 70s in Mexico.
Does it?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh, I didn't realize there was like a period piece.
I didn't know if you were asking if you're stating.
That's
why
I
was
was asking.
Yeah. So it takes place in the 70s.
Ask
and
stating.
the thing too that they
it's
do.
a Netflix movie, right?
It's a Netflix film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on
yeah,
Is
Netflix.
it in theaters or
No, it's on Netflix.
They had
They
to
had
do
theater
something for
showing.
the Oscars qualifications.
Yeah.
Technically, they would have to do it like 2 weeks in LA or something like that. But it was it's a Netflix movie, so you can
Yeah,
watch
they
it on
had to be
Netflix.
in theaters for 2 weeks or something like that.
Something like that in LA specifically.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little conflicted, but I'm like fascinated by the fact that so many like it seems like pet projects for
Yeah.
directors and actors who want to make certain films.
to
Like
Netflix.
Netflix is like. You want to try this? All right, fuck it. We got a $20 billion to
That's
blow.
why.
So make your fucking
Yeah.
movie.
That's
Like,
why, because they're literally
think it's
getting
great.
they're the best deal in town right now.
Yeah.
They're parting with monies like the studios used to do in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like they're just
Well, they realize that
blowing
if
money.
they dump all this money into product, like all it's going to do is pull in more
Yeah.
subscriptions.
They have to. They're
You
getting
know?
away from like 'cause
And they're
everybody
trying
else
to-
is doing the thing where they're getting deals with shows
Yeah,
and
Disney's
movies.
gonna
so they're
make
like,
their own
let's do their
and-
originals. Yeah.
Everybody else is going to start
They want
pulling
to
their
be TV.
content away.
Yeah.
So.
They want to be TV.
Yeah.
So I really.
All right, I'm gonna
so-
check. I'm
yeah.
definitely planning on watching it. It's on Netflix, so everybody
Yeah.
can just kind of watch it right now. It's not like a thing you have to like plan to go to the theaters or wait for it to come and like rent it somewhere. You know?
Yeah, just watch it, and after you guys watch it, if you have questions about certain things that happen, I'll explain to you like the culture thing, or
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
the research on it because it's really interesting. Some of the things that happen within the film, like one of the things that I'll tell you that's not within the film, but it's culturally, it's within the Latin culture, is the fact that these nannies, these live-in nannies, they actually all have the same day, Sunday, which they have free for themselves. They all have the same day, and they literally go to the same place always. It's like they always go to the same hangout. So all these nannies have like this like club type of thing in a majority of the Latin cultures where they go to the same place and they meet up and they do whatever they do. And you know, I won't say some of the things because it'll pull out from the film, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, that's interesting
Right.
that nannies have these clubs, you
Right.
know, and they actually do this the same day. This is actually something that's been going on for generations. It's actually like engraved in culture, so
Yeah.
it's really really cool.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna mention a film, and you guys are probably gonna be surprised, but I swear to God I'd seen this film, but as soon as I pressed play on it and people started speaking, I was like, I don't think I've seen this film. Maybe I've seen a couple scenes from it without dialogue, but it's
Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth. I was like,
What?
I was like, I did not know they spoke
How did
Spanish
I
throughout
feel
this
like
whole
I knew
film.
you were going to say this.
Why
Hey,
did
I don't know.
did you watch it?
I watched it because
um,
I literally was like, oh, I haven't seen this in a long time.
Oh, you know
Let me
they're
press
making a
play.
series.
Are they? On
Yeah.
Pan's Labyrinth? Wow.
Are you one of those people that don't like subtitled films?
No, I love subtitles. Are you kidding me?
Who did I talk to that like that can't stand subtitled films?
Somebody who can't read. I don't know.
Well, people always say to me like it's so distracting, and I'm like, I never get.
I
Distracted.
I have subtitles on
Yo,
usually
check
on
this
every
out.
film I watch.
I
even
can.
like
I'll watch
English
a film,
films.
and then the English will be on there, and I'll like see it on my peripheral.
No,
and
I
I'm like,
literally I have subtitles
After a
on
while, I
usually in
don't
English films because I like to like catch every
yeah,
little thing.
you just get used
Before
to
you-
seeing
before you
the
say-
words, and it doesn't change anything.
I just read this article that they ran this test on people that raise kids, and what they do is that they show for like different films from different countries with subtitles to young kids to teach them how to read, and kids much faster
that makes sense.
develop a learning for different languages, and they learned more. Literally, they were above level than any other kids within the classroom at each grade.
Yeah, we
It's
never had this.
crazy.
We never had subtitles growing
I
up.
think that's crazy.
like we had to like guess what they were saying if they said it with some weird accent.
No, they
or
had
something.
yeah, exactly. Not for English, but like
Well,
for foreign
I
films.
watched
Yeah,
like
they
Fish
always
Called Wanda, and I'm like half that shit. I was just like fuck, you know.
Yeah.
That's all I heard was the F word. Like everything
many
else,
fucks in
like
that film.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then my wife actually ran she was in the library, and she ran into a kid that was carrying, like, he was like 7 years old, and he was carrying, while all the other kids were playing, he had like 3 books with him, and he was reading.
Yeah.
And so she was talking to the parents, like, is he really reading that stuff? And because they were like more adultish book, they were more, you know, above his age.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, and she explained that that's what the parents do with that child.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
they
why
had
the
him
kid's so
watch-
into reading.
watch movies
because they
and
connected the
subtitles, yeah.
reading and visuals and different countries. The kid knows 4 fucking languages.
Wow,
He's like
that's
7
crazy.
years old. That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So on Pan's Labyrinth, I felt like
Masterpiece.
Well, it was really fucking good, yeah. And I knew, I must have seen scenes from it without dialogue, like the scene in the where she's getting the food. You know, there's a buffet table, whatever. She's not supposed to touch any of the food, and there's the big guy with the eyes.
That's that actor is the same guy
Doug
who
Jones.
plays. He's
in Shape of Water.
He's in Shape of Water. He's in Hellboy 1 and 2.
Hellboy, yeah, he's the blue guy, right? The amphibian kind of.
Yeah, I forget what his name was, the character's name. But
But in Pan's Labyrinth, literally, I must have seen those scenes or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I've seen this movie, but those scenes don't have any dialogue. But as soon as I pressed play and they started speaking in Spanish, I was like, oh, this is gonna go English, and then it didn't.
No, it never.
I was like, oh shit, I must have never seen this whole movie because I would have remembered that, and I was like, because I when I had seen it, it was around the time period it came out. That movie came out over 10 years.
It's like a rated R
12, 13 years. It very much is. I mean, there's like
there's the whole
violence
war
and
going on,
and
and like
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
murder.
It's a dark fucking movie.
It is, and it's so good, and it's intimate. It reminds me of The Shape of Water in a way. It's actually a pretty intimate story, even though it's got a big kind of concept to it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's intimate. It's a small story. You know what I mean? Like this guy's got this little army in this little spot, and there's the rebels, but you never really go outside that little world.
Yeah.
Same thing in The Shape of Water. If you've seen The Shape of Water, it's intimate. It's like a small, intimate story that doesn't go and explore the whole world. It's not like Hellboy gets a little bit bigger, you know, and Blade 2 and stuff, other movies that Guillermo del Toro's done. But Pan's Labyrinth, I was like, the acting was phenomenal. The story was great. The little girl was great.
And it's kind of sad.
The big
it's sad,
the big
like,
fawn guy was like incredible, and the makeup and the costumes and
it's all prosthetic. It's like no CG.
you could tell, it's not. And I think it was nominated. I want to say that was nominated for Best Picture and Best Foreign Film or something like that. Like it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like dual in that way.
That's one of the. I own that movie.
Yeah.
I own a lot of Guillermo del Toro's movies. But
But anyways, I was like glad I watched it because I was like, I must have not seen this whole thing or whatever, and I was like, I love discovering something that I felt like I knew or whatever. I actually enjoy even a movie I saw when I was a kid and rewatching it as an adult, and it's a totally different perspective because that movie is what, like 12 years old or something like that at this point.
It's older than that, I think. Let me check.
Was it 03? I guess maybe 16 years. It was in the early to mid 2000s, right? That movie. So either way, I'm a completely different person now. You know what I mean? I've got my own daughter as well. So whenever I see a movie,
2006.
2006. Okay, so 12. I guess 13 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I've got a daughter now and everything like that. So like this is I relate to it in a way. Like this is a little girl and she's like has these issues, you know, with no father and the mom who's sick.
Wait,
and,
you leaving your daughter?
What?
You just said you relate to it.
I relate to the I empathize.
I'm just
with
joking.
I don't find it funny.
Oh.
Okay? There's a line and you've now crossed it.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyways, so, oh my God.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
So anyways.
Guillermo del Toro wrote that shit.
He wrote it.
Doesn't that blow
directed
your
it.
mind? He wrote and directed that
Yeah.
movie, and it's like so original. It's so
It's incredible.
yeah.
I want this guy to make more movies because he doesn't do enough. You know what I mean? Like he makes these kind of big-ish movies. You know, he did Pacific Rim. He did, Blade 2. He did.
He's Mr. McPoyle.
Yeah, but he does it. Yeah, exactly. he is, yeah.
Poppy McPoyle.
Poppy McCoy.
Yeah. And It's Always Sunny. Yeah. So he does all these things, but I feel like he doesn't do enough. Like we want to see more because this guy's extremely creative. You can tell his brain is just filled with like fantasy and characters.
Yeah, just to go on a tangent, like I kind of wish now that we've seen the Peter Jackson Hobbit films, like I kind of wish like we had seen
His
Guillermo del
version.
Toro
His version
like
of
just
it,
come
yeah.
through.
I don't think it would have tied into the same world
Yeah.
though. That's the thing.
I would have been okay with
And that
that.
would've been
If they
different.
were like separate universe,
Different
he didn't bring
actors.
Orlando Bloom back, didn't bring
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen. I mean, you didn't even need. Well,
You do.
I guess
Gandalf
you
is a
do
huge
need,
part
you
of the
need
story.
Ian
You only
McKellen.
need Ian
Yeah.
McKellen from
Yeah.
the
Yeah, really,
story.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
Just Ian McKellen.
Exactly. But if he did that, then it would have to tie into the other movies. But
But that's
he's-
okay.
No,
They could be
because
wildly
Did
different.
he do a Harry
It
Potter?
doesn't
He did.
feel
He
right.
did a Harry Potter, right?
Who?
No, he didn't do any of
No,
it.
that was
who was-
Alfonso
Alfonso
Cuarón.
Cuarón.
Yeah, that's right.
Kid
Yeah.
on.
That's like the only time that
Yeah,
they
and
went
that was like
out
one
of
of the
their
best
British
ones.
circle.
Yeah.
Was that one movie? And from
Turned
my
out to
point of
be-
view, I
David-
think
that
that
was
might
one
be
of
the
the
best
best.
one.
Is David Yates British? The guy who did the last few?
I think so.
I don't know.
I'm
He also
pretty sure.
He also done the Fantastic Beasts.
He went
Which
to
is funny
Britain.
because I feel like those are better than like
Harry Potter
Half-Blood
movies?
Prince and yeah.
Well,
and,
the last like 3 movies are more adult, and same with the Fantastic Beasts.
It's
and
not
they're-
just that. There's like they feel the last. Not to get in a whole Harry Potter tangent, but the last 3, the part 1, part 2, for
Deathly Hallows.
Deathly Hollows, and then Half-Blood Prince, they feel a little bit like disjointed.
Yeah.
Like there should have been more scenes to flesh out what the fuck was going on. That's how it felt to me. And I know a lot of people that read the books felt that way. But yeah, and then when I watched Fantastic Beasts, it's such a original contained story that like I liked it a lot more.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
I want to say as a film. I mean, I love the Harry Potter movies and everything in that. But
right. Great tangent. So anyways, Pan's Labyrinth. I loved it. I really, really loved it. And it just.
How about that ending?
It's a perfect. The ending was great.
We could spoil it.
No, I'm not going to spoil anything.
What the people have, it's been fucking 13 years. I thought the ending was like weird, and we won't say what happens, but the way it's like sad, but like
it's a bit jarring, and you're almost sort of like, oh shit, is this real or was it all in her head?
I know that's what I loved about it. Is
you don't know if it's all just basically just a kid's fantasy and dreaming awake or whatever.
That's what I loved about that entire film. That's what blew me away was the fact that it made you wonder, a little bit at like what was real and what wasn't real. Yeah. And then, like, was everything you just saw, like all the fantastic elements? Like, I liked that little kind of, and it's almost like a little twist that he puts on it, like, because I just take the stance that it was real, and then what ends up happening at the end actually happens,
but really no guarantee. It's not perfectly clear whether or not that's true. Yeah. And I kind of was like leaning. I'm in the middle on it. I still haven't.
But they still
really
show
decided.
it. So the fact that they show it in the film to me indicates that it
because she
happened.
is. Yeah.
If you really like that, you need to go watch A Monster's Call.
A Monster's Call.
You have to.
I feel like I saw some of that.
I don't understand why people have not seen this film. This film is so fucking.
It's with the tree monster or whatever, right? It was like a tree monster.
Boyona J.
A.A.
Boyona,
the guy who did the most recent. Which movie did he do recently, dude? He did the new Jurassic World.
Yes.
Yeah, and he did The Orphanage.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
the guy. It J? No, it's J or A.A.
A.A. I think it's
A.A.
Yeah.
He's a Latin director too, right?
Yeah. This film it just reminds me.
All right, a monster calls.
A monster call. Yeah. It's got Sigourney Weaver in it. It's
Felicity Jones. Oh, I did see this.
Oh yeah, okay. I've seen the
freaking
poster.
like the story is so deep and good, and like I don't understand how a lot of people missed this film.
Right.
It's really I don't even trust the rating that it has. I think it has 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
And it's just
that's decent though.
Yeah. If you're in the Pan's Labyrinth type, watch this.
Yeah, that kind of okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out
because it has the premise of is this a reality or is this kid's head?
Okay,
type of deal. Is this how he's dealing with these things?
I like that.
So
yeah, it really. I was happy with it. Yeah. Another movie I was gonna mention, because I don't think I actually did. I talk about this at all when I saw it a couple months back. Was mid '90s, which was Jonah Hill's directed movie. Okay, the skater movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember talking.
He
about
brought
it
up and talked because we talked about Jonah Hill making this film, and then you talked.
Did I talk about having actually seen it?
You talked about
Okay.
He talked about one. Okay. You watch it.
Well, either way, it was really good. It's a very intimate film, very indie, it's actually it's like almost shot like 4x3. Like it really feels like this night.
Like the box.
Yeah, it kind of it's. I think the whole movie's like that. It was just really natural. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those natural films where like everybody in it, most of the people in it, don't seem like actors even.
But he had some
real
some of the
skaters
were real skaters. Yeah.
But they are great. There's this one kid. His name is Fuck Shit. And he's like, literally, they call him, hey, fuck shit. Like, that's what because he always goes, oh, fuck shit. Like, whenever somebody does a great trick, he's like, oh, fuck shit. It was such a good movie. Yeah. I just loved
seeing... I think that's actually the real reason why he brought up the film, because of that.
The fuck shit. I forgot about it until I was talking about it, actually. But I really like seeing these kind of... they balance out because I love these spectacle films, Marvel films and action films and blow-em-ups and big studio Hollywood type stuff. But I really like that balance of watching these more human, intimate, small stories, real life in the streets.
We're turning him into an indie guy.
You're turning me into an indie guy? You don't turn me into an
indie
guy.
You're welcome.
That's right, Neil.
You're welcome, Nick.
What are you talking
You're
about?
welcome, Nick.
This guy.
Take the hug. Just take the hug. Just take the hug.
What are you talking about?
Take the hug, Nick.
No, listen.
Take the hug. We're holding you right now.
Here's the difference.
Put your head on my shoulder, brother.
I've always watched all movies. You guys are fucking biased, and you just you stay in your corner because you're fucking shut off from the fruits of the world, you piece of shit.
It's gonna be okay.
All right.
You let let it out.
What
you
if
know
I
what I was gonna
killed
say?
you
You
on
know what
air?
we should do? We should do a discussion on the fact that like every generation, I wouldn't say necessarily every generation, but like, have you guys noticed that there's a lot of like 70s like television drama, films, like things that like content that's coming out of Hollywood that's like that shows the 1970s, 1980s, like, and that's like a resurgence, dude.
80s especially.
Like the next 10 years, they're going to be making like hundreds of films about the 90s.
Yeah, right.
Like it was a million
They're
years
already
ago.
doing it.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it's such a weird, to me, it's like yesterday.
Yeah.
Because that's when I, that's
Dick
when
Cheney.
I grew up. That's when I was like a teenager.
Vice.
But,
Captain
like,
Marvel all takes place in the 90s. That
Vice.
movie's coming out. Captain Marvel.
yeah, that's
Vice
true.
was a lot in the 90s. What was this other movie that I just watched that takes place in 1993? Oh, In Search of Fellini. That was in 93. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there are a lot of films that are
But
90s.
I mean, like that focus on the culture of the 90s.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
true.
90s culture. Like,
It's starting to
you
become
go
a
back
thing.
and watch like, I don't know, like Clueless or whatever, Can't Hardly Wait or those
Yeah.
type of movies. And like that captures,
Singles,
because they're
Reality
made
Bites.
in that time period. But now you're going to go,
now it's going to be parodied.
is it something that you want to like revisit?
I do.
See detectives
Yeah.
walking around in the
Yeah.
90s,
True Detective,
investigating.
doesn't that take place in the
Yeah,
90s?
yeah, it does.
The first season?
True
No, now
80s
now-
or 90s? It has to be
Yeah.
90s, I think.
Yeah, True Detective.
does
yeah.
it?
Because remember, it keeps going from like present to back then. It was like 12 years earlier, and that movie came out. The show is at least early 2000s, but it might be even 90s at the most of that.
Oh,
Remember?
at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
And then it goes
Yeah.
to like 2012 or 2014 or
2014,
something
yeah.
like that.
But no,
Oh, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you're right, yeah.
yeah. But anyways, it's I mean, realize 1990 was 29,
like,
29
the-
years ago.
The third season, yeah, I know, it's crazy. The third season of True Detective, which I've been watching, which is great. You should watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, I
seen
heard
it.
they really brought it back. up
Mahershala Ali
since.
is fantastic. Even Stephen Dorff is
Yeah,
great.
He's nominated for an
He's
Oscar.
great. Mahershala Ali, yeah.
Stephen Dorff's great too. Yeah.
Yeah. But that takes place. The majority of that takes place
Yeah.
in the 70s. Like, and it's like three separate time periods. It's kind of doing this.
I
thing
love
where
this
it
generation.
Constantly jumps back and
I love
forth.
them. I love.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of, to me, they're like flashback in life.
But it's got to be weird to be somebody that grew up in the 70s to like watch this, because to you that was like normal, the bell bottoms and smoking weed or whatever it is they did in the 70s.
Wait till you're 90
But
and you're
like-
watching period pieces on our fucking lifetime.
True Detective does take place in the late 90s because it's a 17-year arc
Yeah.
between the whole story, and it was 2014, so it started in the late 90s.
yeah, wait
Yeah.
till you're 90 and you're watching period pieces on this time.
Oh,
Seriously.
man.
But like,
I mean,
You're gonna
like-
be like, oh, why is
That's
everything
gonna
about
happen.
Elon Musk?
there's nothing
I
special.
I know. Like, what
Every
happened
film's
in-
gonna be about
They're gonna
Elon
be
Musk.
like, I'm just waiting for like the Bill Clinton, if it hasn't happened already, but the Bill Clinton biopic or whatever.
I think
Monica
there's been-
Lewinsky.
I
Have they
promise
done
you,
one?
Well, Primary Colors came out at the time, was
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
inspired
Primary
by it,
Colors,
but that
I
was
forgot about
in the late 90s. That
Yeah.
happened around the same time period.
But does he actually play Bill Clinton?
No, he plays a guy who's basically Bill Clinton.
Okay.
It's basically very loosely.
They're just waiting for him to like pass away, and then they're gonna do
It's
it.
basically that film that says it, but doesn't really say it.
W came out while George W.
Well, like-
Bush was still in office.
Like they came out with that O.J. Simpson the documentary.
Yeah.
Was it ESPN or something like that?
no, it's Fox. Oh, the documentary.
There was
I
the
think that was
documentary, and then there was the
ESPN. I don't think it was
miniseries.
HBO. Yeah.
They both came out like the same time.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah, I didn't watch the documentary, but I watched.
I watched a bunch of
miniseries.
it. I didn't see
He
all
didn't
of
do it. Anyway,
All right. Cool. Well, I think we had some pretty good films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch. I want to watch Pan's Labyrinth again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in
Yeah.
a long time. So.
oh, I did watch a Netflix movie, Extinction, which I thought was garbage until the end, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually an interesting twist." It has a
I've
twist.
been
Did you
almost
watch it?
watching. I gotta be honest with you. I've really stayed away from Netflix a lot.
Netflix
lately.
originals.
Just Netflix
Oh,
itself.
Netflix in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
just.
I've
I
gone
think
back.
I love Netflix and I love their content, but I feel like I've watched so much of it that themes and things are starting to feel repetitive.
Yeah.
And so I just like I need a break from it because I enjoy it and I don't want to lose that.
The
So
thing-
I kind of stepped away from it. The only reason I watched Roma is because it's so different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say on Netflix, I wish they did a better job of letting you access their content. I feel like they do this thing where they only show you like the most popular shit in each
They don't
genre.
have an A to Z of everything.
Yeah, it's like I want to just give me a list. It's like, can I select like 1940s films and then just give me every fucking 1940 film you ever made?
They should have an option where you can
Every film that
type
was made in
in
the 80s.
type in a word or something,
Yeah.
and they'll bring up everything related to that, like 1940s.
What do they have? 500,000
Their
movies on
search
there?
doesn't do it.
No, it's not searched by like subject. It's searched by title only. You might be able to sometimes in certain
You can do.
devices,
I know you can do actors. You
yeah,
can do
you can do
certain
that.
Things.
You can do actors and directors stuff like that. But you can in
But
certain.
I
Not
wanna-
even every device does.
I
that.
want to discover things I
Yes.
haven't seen. I don't want to see the same shit that I've seen over and over again. That's the problem.
I want to
if I
type
put
in
an
period
actor,
piece and like get a bunch of things about.
but they only
women
show
having
you
their
like 10
menstrual cycles.
things sometimes. If you type in like classic movies,
Yeah.
which maybe it's too not specific enough, but it shows you like 15 movies.
Yeah.
That's it, and it's all movies I've seen. It's like White Christmas and whatever.
Right.
All right, Netflix,
Minute.
take this.
Amazon Prime's
upgrade
better.
on.
They have a better.
Have you
system.
just really quick to end that? Have you ever went to Amazon and put like ES or a different country?
IT.
Oh, no.
Yeah, IT for Italy.
So
see all
if you
the-
do that, the Prime movies that you get, it's like tons more.
Really?
Tons more. Incredible list.
Like international films or U.S. films?
International films, the U.S. films. You get a lot of freaking options. Like the U.S. films even have more subtitles. It's like, what? Why is it so regulated here?
Right.
It's really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Great topic. Great subject. Thank you guys for joining us here at Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
And
Can you knock it off? What is love? Not this. Do, do, do. Oh my god.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.